right, man. Tell me, you glad to be back here in the States for this one and not flying halfway around the world to do a fight?
Whoops, my bad. I'm very excited to be fighting here, yeah, stateside. It's, you know, fighting international was nice. I loved it. I love Israel. I love the Israeli people and then the Russians and many different people that were out there too. Very multicultural. I loved it. It's something that I really enjoy, but it is very nice to be stateside and have a very close flight to just, I call it like fighting close to home.
Was that the first time you fought outside the country, right?
Yeah, it was the first time.
Did it at all mess you up during fight week? I mean, how did that work for you in terms of weight cutting and mental preparation leading into it and all that stuff?
Yeah, you know, family and friends, everybody, man, don't you want to be there a month ahead of time to get used to the time change and the atmosphere and everything or whatever? And that, man, you know, being days ahead and everything, and I knew they were 8 hours ahead, something like that. It was easy. It was fine. As soon as we touched down and I slept accordingly on the plane and everything. So I knew as soon as I got there, it was just like it was nighttime, it was time to go to bed, and when it was morning time, it was time to be up, you know. And the weather was amazing, the food was amazing. I'd love to go back, but for vacation though, because I want to be able to eat as much as possible and enjoy the beach as much as possible and see Jerusalem and some of the other cities over there. But it was definitely an experience of a lifetime.
Obviously, that was, you know, the biggest moment of your career at that point. Not the result that you were looking for. Would it have been better to have that fight here in the States closer to home, or did that even make a difference to you once it came time to get in the cage?
It would have been better in the sense that, you know, of course, friends, family, people who, you know, want to drive or fly to come see me. I'm having quite a bit of family from Mexico and from Illinois, Wisconsin coming to see me for this fight, you know, driving. So it would have been nice if it was stateside, you know, they have the opportunity to be able to do that too here, but halfway across the world, and a lot of my family members and friends don't like flying, or, you know, obviously not a lot of people can afford that, so it was difficult. But you know, if it was here, because this is a special place to me, this is where I made my debut, man. So if it was here, you know, I was thinking, man, if the title fight was here or in Texas, the Texas fans, man, I love Texas. I fought there twice already. Texas is amazing. You know, I'm waiting for Bellator to go back to Texas. So if it was there, that would have been incredible too. But you know, it's not the result I wanted, but definitely, like I said, experience of a lifetime. First time fighting international, I handled it like a champ, made weight like a champ, did everything, you know, easy, and you know, it was amazing.
I know you've talked that you were not disappointed with your performance in any stretch of the imagination. Relatively close fight, you know, you took some rounds from him. Can you talk a little bit about kind of the confidence that you get from that, and even though it's not a win and you didn't win a title, but what you take from that moving forward?
You know, it's very heartbreaking, you know, as we know, I'm like discouraged and I'm down. I'm like, man, it sucks. Yeah, you know, something I worked so hard for. The only thing I envisioned in my mind was being on the plane back with that belt around my waist, man. That's all I was thinking is, you know, walking through the airport and I got to pass through this with security and everything, and, you know, coming home as world champion. And I just can't let it keep me down, you know. That was last year, it was the last fight, and we have to take the positives from it. I sent him to the hospital, he didn't want a rematch, and I know that guy fears me. So he's not in a rush to fight me soon at all, you know. Granted, that's why he went up a weight class right now. Otherwise, we'd have a different story right now, and I'd continue to keep pushing for the rematch. But Bellator's got other plans, he's got other plans, he put it behind him and I put it behind me, but now he knows, now the world knows, the division knows that even the champion is avoiding me. So, you know, I have to take the positives from it, and I did learn a lot about myself, about the fight game, and about the current champion, you know, and about the greatest, best in the world. So I can take nothing but positives from it. It sucks, like I said, it's very heartbreaking, it sucks really bad. You know, not getting your hand raised, not getting the win, and then of course the title was on the line, so not getting the world title. But, you know, only positive encouragement to motivate me to be even hungrier and to go out there and give me more confidence, knowing and trusting my abilities that I can and have the potential and will become world champion.
Obviously, you know, the road to get back there starts with the next one, and that's Friday night. You had an opponent change, you know, just a couple weeks out. Talk to me about what that did in terms of changing your preparation for the fight, and what things will be like, you know, having a rematch on your hands against a guy that you already got a win over.
Short or tall, big or small, they all will fall, man. You know, that's the name of the game. I ain't afraid of nobody, and I never turn down a fight against anybody, and this has excited me, you know. A lot of negative things can come in your mind when you hear that, you know, your opponent pulls out, you know, like if you're going to get moved because we're banking on fighting, you know what I mean, and we want to stay active and relevant, and this is what we do this for. We're fighters, man. This is my livelihood. It's my life. And so, you know, I'm like, dang, man, what if they don't find anybody, or what's going to happen, whatever. When they said maybe Georgie, and I was thinking, oh, awesome, great, I hope he accepts. And he did. I'm like, awesome, boom. I'm like, you know, I wasn't resting on, oh, wow, we already have a win over him. To me, I was like, all right, a lot has changed since then between him and I'm sure he's changed and I've changed, and so it's going to make for an amazing fight, you know. So coming off my last performance, you can see that. So wait till you see the magic on Friday night.
Because of that, because you've got the win over him, do you look back at all at that first fight, or like you said, you figure you've changed a lot, he's changed a lot? Do you just throw that out the window?
Yeah, like you said, a lot the positives and negatives. So just like the last fight, and any of my previous fights, wins or losses, that's what I have to do. I have to look at the fight, I have to watch the fight, and then I remember everything. You know, fighting is, you know, you get really intimate with this. You get really deep, you know, because it's mental, it's emotional, it's physical, it's spiritual. So how you cut the weight, how you show up fight week, how you feel in the fight, how you're warming up, everything, man, everything. So looking back on that fight, you know, how I felt when I watch it, how I see the positives and negatives that I can take from it, and what he did well, what I did well, etc. And now I can only use that as a positive, uplifting encouragement to know that I'm like, okay, I know what I need to do and what I can't do against him, etc. And then even watching him now off his recent performances and watching my own, you know, I'm a much more dangerous fighter than I was then, and I'm excited to showcase it this Friday night.
Tell me a little bit about the state of the division now. You said earlier, you know, the champ moving up to try and go after another title. You feel like maybe is a little bit of an indication that he doesn't want to stick around at 145 because he knows somebody like you is down here. So tell me what him moving up does for you in the immediate title picture, I guess.
In his absence, you know, a lot of people still ask me, what's my ranking, what's my this, whatever. Who knows what the rankings are, man? It's all opinions. I mean, you could go on records, you could go on finishes, you could go on stats, who's got the most punches, who's got the most takedowns, whatever. When people consider who's the #1 guy, I consider myself the #1 guy, honestly. You know, I don't got the strap, but the guy who has the strap doesn't want to fight me again, you know, and didn't. And, you know, we'll see what's going to happen the second time around. But in his absence, I just have to solidify myself as the #1 featherweight, you know. So it starts again with Georgie. Georgie's back, and anyone and everyone who comes in my way is in the division as well. You know, we know there's Corrales, there's Pico, there's McKee, there's Borix. There's so many good guys, man. So many great guys in the division. There's already been talks of the Grand Prix coming up, and you know, I'm excited for whatever. You know, one fight at a time, one win at a time. I need to solidify my status as you know, if I'm going to sit here and tell you that I'm the #1 guy, then I got to solidify my status as the #1 guy in my performances and going out there and taking out everybody in my way. So one at a time, you know, short or tall, big or small, they all will fall.